a motion potentially about, for an appraisal on the property that we discussed.
Okay, I've got names of appraisers.
I have names. I actually reached out to them.
Okay.
So I have.
I got them from Paul Wiley.
Okay. Well, we can discuss that.
Yeah. Can't hurt to send them more than one or two. I don't know how many you have.
I had 4.
Oh, you have 4.
Yeah. Maybe there's some of the same names. Yeah.
You're alive.
Okay. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Cheney?
Here.
Trustee Foster?
Here.
Mayor Newhart?
Here?
Trustee Flora?
Here.
And Trustee McKnight is absent.
Okay. We'll move right into motions, and Mary, would you take the first motion?
Can I borrow yours?
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry.
I'm having a hard time getting on there. Motion to add 5 additional labor positions to the Village of Warwick Civil Service Position Control and authorize the mayor to sign Form MSD-222 in accordance with Orange County Civil Service requirements.
Okay.
Second.
Just as an explanation for adding that many is that we needed these additional titles as placeholders for civil service. So that's basically it.
Not funded.
Not funded, no.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And then Carly, do you want to take the next one?
Motion to submit a 2023 New York State Consolidated Funding Application for the Department of State Smart Growth Community Planning and Zoning Grant Program for the Village of Warwick Zoning Revision Project and authorize the mayor to sign the same.
Second.
Okay. And that application is pretty much ready to go. This is the last piece. I worked with Peter Fairweather, and I think we have a very strong application based on our comprehensive master plan. So I'm very excited about this application. So we have a second. All in favor? Aye. And Carly, the next one too?
Motion to submit a 2023 New York State Consolidated Funding Application for the Empire State Development Strategic Planning and Feasibility Study Funding Program for the Village of Warwick Multi-Use Trail Feasibility Study Project and authorize the mayor to sign the same.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to submit a 2023 New York State Consolidated Funding Application for the this should be Barry.
Go ahead.
For the New York State Department of Environment Conservation Water Quality Improvement Project, WQIP program for the Village of Warwick Dam Safety Repair and Rehabilitation Project and authorize the mayor to sign the same.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And,
And
Barry.
You want these next two?
Barry, I'll give you the next one. This is to make up for your carbon use.
Resolution authorizing submissions of a New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Act WIA grant application for the Village of Warwick Water System Improvements Project. Whereas the Village Board of the Village of Warwick duly caused to be prepared a preliminary engineering report recommending improvements to the village's reservoir water storage tank, and whereas the proposed improvements to such water system components include upgrades such that the reservoir water storage tank will meet the recommended standards for waterworks, and whereas the project will include construction of 2 new water storage tanks replacing the existing reservoir tank, and whereas the opinion of probable project costs of these improvements is $3,600,000, and whereas the village board now desires to pursue grant funding for the project under the New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Act, WIA program. Now therefore be it resolved that the village board of the Village of Warwick, Orange County, New York authorizes the submission of a New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Act WIA grant application. And be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to submit an application on behalf of the village for grant funding under the New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Act WIA program, and to execute any agreements, instruments, and other documents in connection with the village's acceptance of any such grants and/or the funding thereof, and be it further resolved that the mayor may authorize any required local match required with respect to financing or grants awarded to the village for the project through the use of cash and/or in-kind services, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Do you have a second?
Second.
It's a roll call vote.
Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee Fleur?
Yes.
Mayor Newhook?
Yes.
Number 6, reservoir water tank replacement. Whereas the Village of Warwick owns and operates a municipal water system serving the village, and whereas the village is currently in the design phase of the reservoir water storage tank replacement project in response to the tank being near the end of its useful life, and whereas the current engineer's opinion of probable construction cost for the reservoir water storage tank replacement project, herein collectively the project, is $3,600,000, the capital project cost, and whereas the village intends to finance the project through issuance of bonds in the amount of $3,600,000 pursuant to the local finance law of the state of New York, and whereas although the village will pay the full amount of the capital project cost through bonding, the village is also applying to the New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Act program, seeking a grant for 60% of eligible costs related to the project. And if the WIA grant application is approved, the amount required to be bonded will be concomitantly decreased. And whereas although the village will pay the full amount of the capital project cost through bonding, the village maintains a capital reserve fund which, depending on certain future circumstances, may be available to provide funds to pay a portion of the costs related to the project. And if such capital reserve funds ultimately are available to pay a portion of the cost of the project, the amount required to be bonded will be concomitantly decreased. And whereas the Board of Trustees of the village has conducted public information meetings to take comments from the public on the village's proposed improvements to the water system which constitute the project. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, that the Village Board of Trustees hereby determines that the village shall undertake the reservoir water storage tank replacement project, and 2, that the work to be undertaken in the project shall be the replacement of the reservoir water storage tank, including the construction of 2 600,000-gallon water storage tanks, demolition of the existing reservoir tank, connection of the 2 new tanks to the existing water system, site restoration, engineering services, associated administrative and legal services, and other ancillary costs necessary to complete the project. And 3, that funding for the project shall be provided through issuance of bonds in the amount of $3,600,000, less any amount which may ultimately be received through a WIA grant or any amount which may be available from the village's capital reserve funds, and for that upon completion of the project, the new reservoir water storage tanks shall merge into the already existing water system.
Second.
Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee Fleur?
Yes.
Mayor Newhook?
Yes.
Do you know when we'll hear about the WIA?
I don't think it's probably till sometime early next year.
Okay.
Yeah. I just one quick question, because it's been so long since we've had a back and forth or discussion. Will the new storage tanks, the double storage tanks, increase capacity? Potentially the capacity that we may lose if we have to lower the lower reservoir.
What the capacity of the 2 tanks together is greater than the current tank.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't really replace what we might lose in the capacity of the reservoirs themselves.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I'm just curious. I thought maybe that was the silver lining.
yeah, it gives us the ability to store more, but we can only create as much as the elevations of the dams and the quantity or capacity of the reservoirs will allow.
Okay. And then,
I have an announcement. if
oh,
I
great,
could.
okay, please.
The Village of Warwick will be flushing fire hydrants starting on July 31st, 2023, from approximately 7 p.m. until 12 a.m. midnight. This will be done every evening until all the fire hydrants are completed. This is done during the evening to cause as little inconvenience as possible for the village residents. The water may be discolored but will clear up and is not harmful. You may also experience minor pressure problems while the fire hydrants are being flushed in your area. And I'll just add, if you do experience dirty water, just, run it for a while. Probably the best place to do that would be a point that's distant from your, where the water comes into the house or residence, and, something that has a high volume like a tub. So that's probably the best way to go about it, and it should clear up quickly. If not, contact the village hall.
So we're gonna put in notification on Facebook, a PSA, so to speak?
I believe it's already up on Facebook.
Okay,
On the website, yes.
and the website, okay, great,
So,
very
yeah,
good.
so we've got that. It's, with all the rain we've had, the reservoirs are full and overflowing.
So we can do it, yeah.
This year, we're able to do that kind of intermediate flushing that we weren't able to do last year because the reservoirs were low at this time.
Great.
Just a question about the timing. So, it seems, I'm wondering if the middle of the day might actually be less disruptive, because the timing around 7 is like when I hear a lot of folks,
Bath time.
bath time and dinner time and brush your teeth time and things like that get really disruptive. Whereas like in the middle of the day, most people are at work.
We can bring that up if you'd like. We could speak to Chris Bennett about that. But I don't know what kind of complaints Village Hall's received. I don't know that there have been very many in the past, except when the water's dirty.
Besides people unaware of the flushing, and they'll call about dirty water. We haven't really had anything about
No complaints.
disruption. Of course, we are closed when the disruption happens.
Well,
so-
they do leave messages usually, if they're really frustrated. But then there's also restaurants, and they're.
In the evening?
In the evening, their work,
And during the
Well,
day, too.
during the day as well.
Yeah.
during the day, yeah. I mean, more so at dinner time, so, or
And then,
lunch, yeah.
you've got the issue during the day with traffic. All these hydrants are right along roads, and so you're
Oh, yeah, and
flushing out into the
more,
road.
yeah. But we should have that conversation with Chris. I think that would be appropriate.
Okay.
At the last meeting, we talked about hiring an appraiser to look at a property that we're, thinking about. And so I reached out to 4 appraisal companies. One offered, I also asked for a turnaround time. And Beckman Appraisals from Tappan, New York, said it would cost approximately $5,000 and a 45-day turnaround. The only other response I've gotten back is from Ackerley and Hubble out of Fishkill, New York, and their quote was for $1,450 with a 1 to 2 week turnaround.
That seems pretty clear.
That seems pretty clear. The first appraisal, they do much larger, seem like much larger projects.
Yeah, and I reached out to Paul Wiley, who in the past has been an appraiser. He's done appraisals. He is the head of the county's real property tax service. And he does appraisals of county property.
Right.
currently, but he doesn't do, he doesn't have the side business. But he pointed out the need to make the distinction between, because I hadn't told him what specifically we were looking at as to whether it was commercial or residential. And he said that commercial appraisals are more involved and cost more.
Right.
Generally.
Right.
So I think that that may be where we're seeing the difference.
Well, I did explain, I mean, when
Oh, okay.
I spoke to the owner of the company, and I explained that it was a residential property, it was 2 acres, and, you know, and that was like the base,
Okay.
the base amount,
Yeah.
so, I mean, they're also in Rockland County, so it may be more expensive.
Or they may not want to do the work.
Or that they have a tremendous amount of work,
Yeah.
and that was what was also,
Yeah, so, I mean, I have 3 additional names. 2 of them are non-commercial appraisers. So,
could we make a motion based on this number as a not to exceed, and then I can get potentially, you know, if it's less than, then go with the lowest?
it, what was their quote, 1,500?
1,450.
I would say we're doing our due diligence to, that we can accept that. As
Yeah,
far as I'm
I mean,
concerned.
I called the other 2, and I have not received responses
Yeah,
yet, so,
yeah.
okay.
1,500's under the procurement
Yeah.
requirement for multiple
Right,
bids.
right. Okay.
quotes.
So can we make a motion then?
Speak slowly, Barry.
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal from Ackerley and Hubble Appraisal Corporation of Fishkill, New York, to perform an appraisal on behalf of the village at a cost not to exceed $1,450, and for the mayor to enter into a contract to provide these services.
Great, thank you. Okay. Did you get it? Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, and that's the last bit of. So may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Second?
And second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time this morning. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the fastest meeting we've had in a long
A
time.
long time.
And you are still live.
Yeah, that's okay.
Are we on video?
Yes, we
Oh,
are.
okay. So are we generally videoing our, oh, this is a special meeting, not a work
Not a
session?
work session.
Okay.
Correct.